Hey guys.
Hey, Happy New Year.
I know, right? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We did the 2020 thing.
Yeah, and we took a week or so off to, kind of spend time with the family and do the holiday thing. And it was wonderful.
A new year.
And it's a whole new year.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
2020 is in the rear view.
I'm Shaman.
I'm Yolanda.
And we're the Connected Relationship.
Yeah. We help couples
something.
deepen their connection. Do something.
We don't know what we do. What's the tagline? No, we do. We help couples connect and grow deeper in that.
Yeah.
And since it's a new year and everybody's doing the whole, New Year's resolution.
Right.
You know, I got to lose a bunch of weight and go to the gym every day and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All the things that we do in January.
All the things we do in January.
Doubled. After a pandemic year,
right?
We're doubling down on the resolution.
Even crazier than normal, right?
Yeah.
We kind of felt like it was important that we can do the same kind of things in our relationships.
Yeah, we don't have to, just focus on because I was watching the news the other day and they were talking about the typical New Year's resolutions, right? They're like get in shape,
right? Eat better,
save money, that kind of thing,
right.
So, but what if you kind of put some of that thought and intention towards your relationship? How would that impact your relationship over this year?
And the amazing thing is like doing that, just being a little more intentional about your relationship can go like light years.
Yeah.
In how you connect.
Yeah. Having
a little more focus, a little more intention, a little more, dare I say, set some goals.
Some people have an aversion to the word goals. If that's you, that's okay.
I like intention, though.
Intention.
I intend to do these things, and if I don't, oh well.
Well, I think intentional, like being intentional, right?
Right.
And so it's, in the brain science world, we know that energy flows where, connections go. So when we think about something, there's more of a propensity.
Right.
For things to change there. So.
Right. So, when it comes to, like, how am I going to set this year up? I think we were going to do a few videos here.
Another series.
Right, we're going to do another series. And it's going to be really focused on kind of setting a vision and some intention for your relationship over the course of the next year. However long really you want to make it. There's no rules. There's no wrong. There's no right.
Yeah. But including your relationship when you're planning for the year. Right.
And that's really the focus of how we were approaching it is how do you set some goals and include your relationship and make it intentional that, hey, I hope to be getting here in our relationship this year.
So how do we?
Well, there's a few things we can do. I think just the idea of having intention behind it is important, right? There's a process that we do every year, and it's we kind of set out a vision board for the year.
Yeah, we've been doing a vision board for several years now.
Oh man, I think we've probably been doing vision boards for like 7 or 8 years. It's crazy. But every end of every year or beginning of every year, we sit down and we kind of make it's a creative project.
Yeah.
And you kind of go through newspapers or write words or find words or magazines. I said newspapers, magazines, and find pictures and words and things that kind of resonate with, like, what do I kind of want to see happen in my life?
Yeah. So we really, when we do it, we've kind of evolved the process over the years, but it's kind of starting with what are my core values, what's most important to me. Right. And then like a holistic approach when I think of body and mind and soul and relationships and like, what do I want that to look like in each of those areas of my life? What do I want things to look like?
And what you kind of walk away from that is this really cool visual reminder of like, hey, these things are like my intentions.
So what's really cool about this is that, we can all make and write down our goals, and that's
great.
Which
is fine.
It's good. It's important. But when we have a visual representation that is just that automatic connection that our brain is like, oh yeah, and then it doesn't take as much effort. You just I keep my vision board and you keep your vision board kind of front and center.
Where my vision board.
Where we see it every day, right? I keep mine on a little shelf right above my desk. And so as I'm sitting at my desk, I just look at it.
Right, and mine too. Mine's like on a little shelf right beside my desk as I'm working all day long. I can look at it. I see it every day. In some aspect, I tend to think about something that's on it every day.
Right.
You know, I think it's that intention. You know, that what kind of things are going to be important to me this year.
Right.
And then seeing them on a daily reminder, it kind of keeps you focused.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when it comes to like our relationships, it can kind of lead towards like, what goals do I want to set? What actionable things can I do for my relationship?
But here's the interesting starting point that you and I talked through, right? It's like, how do I want to feel in my relationship?
Right. And I think that should like start it. Like how, you know, what ways do I want to feel before the year's up, or then over the course of the next year?
Yeah.
You know,
how do I want things to feel in my life? How do I want things to feel in my relationship?
How do I want things to feel about my partner?
So, you know, for me, my word for this year was fierce.
Right.
And the definition of fierce is showing a heartfelt, powerful intensity. And so it's like, I want my love, you know, for people, for you, for my relationships in my life, I want it to be a fierce love. And like, then I think, well, what does that look like?
Right.
You know? And so that starts to unfold like, oh, okay, so I feel really fiercely connected when we're hiking or paddleboarding or, you know, whatever.
Doing whatever it is.
Doing whatever it is.
Right. And that's kind of the cool thing about this is like, you can wrap these intentions, these concepts and these ideas that you want to hold close all year long. You can wrap them in almost everything you do. And then when it comes to relationships, everything you're doing together, you know, which is really kind of cool. And then you can kind of check in with that and be like, wow, are we moving towards these things?
Yeah. And it's interesting because your word is not the same as my word.
Well, I don't really have a word per se. I mean, but that's okay. You don't have to have a word, right? I mean, there are things that I want. You know, I want us to be closer always. You know, I want us to have the freedom to do the things we want to do.
I was about to say, one of the words, one of like the phrases that kind of came up for you was freedom.
Right, it did. It did. When I was working on mine was kind of freedom to kind of own my time and own my time with you.
Right.
And be more intentional about those things, to have the space to do the things we want to do.
Yeah. And so it's interesting because, you know, when we first started doing this, and then over the years, as you look back, because every year as we get ready to do another vision board, I kind of pull through.
You look at a few old ones,
the ones that had come before, and you look and you're like, now last year's vision board was just like, we'll file that one away as something special.
What color?
You know,
Like,
it was. So, you know, not everything on that vision board came to be, but a lot of it did, even in spite of the world turning upside down. So it's really interesting. It's an interesting process to kind of look back on and see how that unfolds, even organically.
Right. I think, and that's kind of like our challenge this week, is maybe take a little bit of time and think of those concepts that are important to you in your relationship, whether it's closeness or better communication or, you know, whatever it is. I want to hold your hand more. I don't know. And find creative ways to put those on something that you can look at.
And so here's a challenge, right? For those of us who are like entirely left brain, like the super analytical, like I'm not a creative person. We all are creative. It's whether or not we exercise that muscle.
Right. And this is a really good, no harm, no foul kind of way to do it.
It looks however it looks, right?
I mean, for the most part, it's really cool if you can just flip through some magazines and cut some pictures out that kind of represent what you want.
You know, it's flipping through the magazine and just pulling pictures out or pages out
that
don't even like you're like, I don't know, that just caught my attention.
Let me see. Yeah. And then you kind of go through it later and look at it, and then you start putting things down and you cut out words and you know, and it kind of grows.
It looks however you want it to look like.
Right. So I mean, mine looks like this. So sit down with your partner and do a vision board and think about what things are important, and you can build on that, other things and other goals and stuff that you want to do this year. So
awesome, good stuff. Thanks guys for watching. See you soon.
Bye guys.